So I've worked for 19 companies since college. Most of them by my choice, but not all. Like, I find there's more consistency of expectation for a large company. So you can do research on it, you can look at Glassdoor, you can speak to people that have been there. So my expectations were generally met at big companies, whereas smaller companies, they all seem pretty cool from the outside, and there's not as much research on it. I think I have a small sample set of small I've worked for 4 or 5 small companies. You can do things faster, but you're not surrounded by as good a talent often, or at least in my sample set. I've worked at big companies that are attractive employers, so they get good talent. So I think you get consistently better talent at large organizations because I think they recruit better. They have, in general, a better performance management process. There's gaps in it. And the resources are really great. Like the fact that I have to do phone screens now, and we're a fairly sizable company, but at Amex and Facebook and Google, my recruiting team would give me 5 candidates that were finalists, and they were really damn good candidates. Google made it really easy, and Facebook, if you had problems with your laptop or your computer, you just go to Tech Stop or the IT help desk. It's like Genius Bar. And they just help you, and they make you so much more productive, and they actually focus on the productivity of their employees. Whereas I worked at a startup called Andela, and I was VP of operations, but I also had to make sure the toilet paper was in the bathrooms. And I had to find like a woman on the floor to go into the woman's room for me to check that out. So, but I was also making big decisions of figuring out the IT infrastructure for our Lagos office. So that was pretty cool. There's pros and cons of both. It really depends on the stage of your career, what you're trying to get. Usually get paid more from big companies. There's more upside in the smaller companies, but a lot of the small companies don't wind up working out. Like I used to work in venture capital, and we had the rule of a third. A third of companies would go out of business. A third would return the money to the investors, not to the employees, but to the investors. And a third would carry the results of the company. And as an employee, you don't know which third of that bucket you're in. Yeah. And even if you're in that top third, if you're not early enough on, you don't get enough of the upside, and you're dealing with a lot of that downside of filling the paper towels in the bathroom. So there were cool things too. I got to play starting center field on the softball team at that company. At Google, I would barely get called for the softball team because they had too many people that wanted to play. So, there's pros and cons.
Okay.